The art style known as Socialist Realism is an interesting form of style. In this video, I'll go over the aspects of the style and a bit of history of it. Socialist Realism is an art style that originated in Russia. It is similar to that of the Social Realist art style, but this style mainly focuses on the goals and life of socialism and communism. This form of art style was popular amongst the Eastern Bloc and other socialist countries. This art form was even sponsored by the Soviet state as well. This art style puts emphasis on communal working, uniting humanity, the glory of the working class, and the beauty of socialist society. Interestingly enough, this art style began during pre-Russian Revolution. The reason it wasn't so well known was because the Russian Empire didn't really allow for artistic freedom. So people had to find loopholes in writing books critiquing their empire which they lived in. As we know, during the time after the revolution, the Soviet Union began to support artistic freedom as things such as film and art became more popular and even said to be quite well done and critically appraised. However, over time, the socialist realist art style became sponsored by the Soviet Union. So much so that other newer forms of art drew criticism from the Communist Party. This, of course, would be one of the mistakes the Union would make, and could have led to its downfall amongst the young people who aspired to take on a new art style. As I stated before, this form of art has been spread outside of the Union to places such as the Eastern Bloc, Cuba, China, North Korea, and former socialist states in Africa. This art usually focused around the socialist state and society, just as the ones in the Soviet Union did. However, outside of the Union, this art was not really popular, since some saw it as totalitarianism, which is ironic since the art in the West can be considered decadent or soulless, as it is often made to sell out and market it and not really made to show expression, as I stated in my video that I did about the arts. Moving on, the art style in other countries helped form their own socialist culture, which helped them socially approved as it helped them aspire to improve their own society. It filled them with aspiration, which is something we do not see often in the West. Instead of marketing art to sell things, the socialist art aimed to remind people of a happier life and collective mindset to show that a strong community can lead to a better lifestyle. It was aimed to relate to the people instead of trying to sell them anything. Now, if that is what's considered totalitarian art, I want to live in a totalitarian society. Now let's go over the characteristics of this art style. As we discussed before, this art was to promote community and the power to the worker. It was supposed to show that the people controlled their own lives and their own community rather than that of the upper class. Even support the idea of dialectical materialism to educate the masses about the social science of it. The art would even show the working class as if they were godlike figures, as again, this is supposed to show that the workers controlled their fate within the country. You could see these examples with statues and architect. These characteristics are, however, met with criticisms, such as Western critics calling it bland as the paintings lack color, and even those that lived in socialist countries also gave their own critiques. An example would be a Hungarian essay writer named George Lucas, sorry if I mispronounced that, said it was too rigid. He even proposed a new form he came up with and called it critical realism. Sadly, however, that form never really took off. The legacy of socialist art style has been seen as both positive and negative. Positive as it helped create a new form of art and even helped advance the culture of socialist countries. This helped create beautiful statues and architecture that create a beautiful atmosphere. A great example would be that of the People's Republic of Bulgaria. They're known for their beautiful architecture during the times that they were socialist. The art of communal friendship and international solidarity gave the impression that there is good within humanity. The negative aspects, however, can vary. As for the Soviet Union's case, this art style was sponsored by the state, to the point where other art forms were beginning to be ignored. This would be one of their major mistakes that led to their fall. If they had let them have a variety of choices, this could have eased the tension within the Union just about a little. I'm not gonna say by a lot, but by a little, because they're pretty much going back to their reactionary times during Russian imperialism. Another negative aspect would be the rigid aspect of it. Albeit that this does not bother me, I will recognize it as a con, as some critics do. And the last negative aspect would be the alleged cult of personality. Albeit from a Western point of view, I can see why this scares people in the West, as we have been beaten with anti-communist propaganda since we were young. So anytime we see a painting of a country that doesn't agree with us, seeing them glorifying their leader, it's automatically a cult of personality, even though we are guilty of that ourselves. I mean, Mount Rushmore, anyone? That's not a cult of personality? Yeah, but moving on, I will admit that this can be weird, but, however, I think there is more emphasis on painting on community than there is that of glorifying a leader or a revolutionary. I think America just chooses to look at the paintings of revolutionaries and leaders in order to fuel their anti-communist propaganda, and we're more uncomfortable with that since I'm guessing we do live in a country that we truly do not like our own leaders. Like, every time we elect them, no one seems to like them. So anyway, this has been a video about socialist realism, an art video, and I plan to do more of each form of art. I think we're going to do cubism next. I'll play that by ear. But anyway, in the next video, I'll go over the subject of chivalry. And if anyone has any questions, comments, or critiques, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. This is Bacor98, signing off.